hello. Good evening and afternoon, depending on where you are. Welcome to Miss Best Reviews channel. We have James here from Watch Your Mouth Reviews. As
Yo, yo,
always,
yo.
we are here to recap Love and Hip Hop Miami Season 5, Episode 2. There was a lot that happened. So I'm just going to hop right in. If I look down on my phone, apologies. It's because I have notes because that much actually happened in this episode. So we
Sure.
started, we see Trina in the studio. She's basically announcing new music. I guess she has an all-female project with Flo Millie and some other well-known female artists. We see and are introduced to Super Cindy, who is, I guess, a radio personality in Miami. I don't know Miami, so I've never heard of her, but apparently in Miami, she's like a big thing. So,
No, I have
okay.
not heard of her. I do not know who this is.
And you're in the
Um,
area. He's
and I'm
like,
in there, and I live there literally, and I'm like, I've never heard of this girl.
oh, she claims she's in like on the radio. I'm like, where? Anywho, um, so we meet Super Cindy, and we basically see that she wants female artists because she wants female artists to support each other, and then she does ciphers. So we don't get too much there, but it was relevant because it's our introduction to her. So that is why we went over it. So after that, we see Amara sitting on Safari, doing the most for the camera with the affection. This is how you know this relationship is new and won't last, in my opinion. In my opinion, but basically, she's reading the blogs and she's panicking. Amada is the type that always cares about the opinion that people have of her. Like, I understand that everyone cares just a tad because you don't want to be ill received or disliked. But at the same time, to care so much that you're literally spending the time you have with your boo or whatever the fuck he is since you're dating. I talking about the blogs, it's stupid. And it's odd because Amada always has a habit of playing innocent. Like, I don't understand why people are saying this and doing this and yada yada yada. And it's like, well, honey, you're not innocent. You just hosted a family reunion just a couple months ago with Erica Mena there and Safari, and now suddenly all together. So it's kind of like, a little tacky the way they announced it, but it is what it is. Safari speaks to her, and this is very important for the next recap after this one on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. But Safari says to Amada La Negra that he pays his child support because she asked him. He says, and makes the point, he says, I would be in jail if I did it, which is actually true. There would be a warrant out for your arrest. Somebody would come after you. Like, they come after regular people. So why wouldn't they come for you? And that's when I first thought to myself before watching Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, I said, I think men are lying. Because that is a good way to explain it. I'd be locked up. Anywho, Safari's obviously not affected by opinions. He wishes that Amara wasn't as well. But it looks like Mena has won in her mission to kind of bury him in some ways. He may be able to find a quick piece of cutty, but I don't think that it's going to be hard for him to find, in my opinion, a quality woman to be in a relationship with. That's just my opinion. Because even women who aren't quality, just, it's like you said with Martell on the previous Housewives of Atlanta recap. You see somebody dog somebody publicly to that extent, what the hell you think he gonna do to you, Amara? It's not even always about the child support and stuff. It's just that lady, regardless of how we feel, she was factually in a hospital. Her kid was born early. He was getting twerked on. So it's just some things that. How did you feel about that scene with Amara and Safari?
You know, at first, I'm gonna say it like this. It was like, okay, y'all are bullshit. I don't buy it. I don't buy the relationship. I don't buy that y'all might be fucking, but I don't buy that this was any type of seriousness. To me, this gave I need a storyline. You one of my closest friends. Let's act like we together, and that's good. Because to me, yes, Amara does care what people think about her a lot of the time, which I want her to stop doing that shit.
Yeah,
I need you to go to therapy right
yeah,
away. I get the Black community is so heavily against therapy because they're probably going to undo the toxicity that we are familiar with and that we just know and that is just there. But at the same time, you don't realize how much that shit is in your way, and you can't get to where you need to go because you're too busy looking behind you, looking at the toxicity that's holding you. So that's my original thought. Now, I do believe he's paying his child support. I do believe that. Um, I'm gonna catch hell for this, but I don't really give a fuck. Fuck all y'all. If y'all don't care, if y'all don't want to agree with my opinion on this, I don't really care. I feel like Safari would do better with men.
You just devastated women all over the country.
Telling the truth. Honestly, y'all would me start to. I feel like he would do. There's a lot of men that I feel like would do better with men as partners. I do, because there are men who have an understanding of you that women don't. So I feel like just on that aspect, I'm not saying what y'all are thinking. I am saying just intellectually, Safari, I think would do better with men. I really do.
Hey, this channel, your channels, Watch Your Mouth, my channel, Mrs. Best Reviews, we really do give our own honest feedback. If that's your feedback, that's your feedback. Now, I have felt like Safari was a little, what is the term? Metrosexual. So, oh my God, the cat. I am so sorry. Hold on. No. Sorry. My cat is like, he's a tabby, so they're vocal and they demand attention. Anywho, what the hell was I saying? That startled me.
You said Safari was metrosexual.
Yes, I feel like he is that because you know his hairline's been worked on. He has a fake hairline, so I'm kind of like,
you know, it's not even the metrosexual thing. It's the fact that he intellectually does not connect with women, and it's weird because as long as he's been with Nicki Minaj, it makes me wonder what that relationship was really about, because it seems like that relationship was transactional. It does not seem like that relationship was actually
they were together
one that
before either of them got put on, and I
right, which
believe
is why I'm saying
I believe their bond was through music because they used to write music together. Things
yeah,
like
I don't believe it
that.
was
I don't
like an
think they were
intellectual
meant.
relationship.
Yeah.
I just don't see it intellectually. I don't see him intellectually with any woman because he just does not give me. And there's some men who don't intellectually connect with women, but end up being one. And those women usually
Let
end up
me
getting
ask
the.
you this about Safari. Do you think that Safari and Amara La Negra being together, do you think that it will last? And do you think that there's anything wrong with it? Obviously, we know you think something's a little wrong, but do you think it'll
I
last?
was going to say, I thought I made that very clear. No, I
No, you
don't.
didn't
I
think
don't think it is real. I don't
so.
think it. I think it is for this show. I think that it is literally a stunt for
Without
her to have a
this,
storyline.
I think Amada has figured out to just share her dating life on TV because when she did, if you watched season 1 of Love and Hip Hop Miami, it went from her being concerned about her music to her barely putting out music, barely showing the shit that she's doing. It seems like every season now we went from MJ to Alan and now it's Safari. I feel like Amada's leaning on this because outside of it, I'm like, where's your storyline? Her dad went back to wherever he went back to, I believe Dominican Republic. And then your mom, we don't really care to see. She doesn't really have close relationships with anybody on the cast. So I'm like, no shade. I know Amada was a big part in making Love and Hip Hop Miami popular. I do enjoy Amada La Negra a lot, but she doesn't give shit on TV. And if this relationship with Safari is all she has to give, and then fights that are result if people telling her the truth about her relationship with Safari, I'm not fucking interested in it. I'm just not. I don't care. Because outside of that, what will we get?
My sentiments exactly. That's
Yeah.
why I said this is bullshit. Because at first, when I watched the first episode, I was like, okay, well, I can kind of see them together.
Kind of.
But then when I really start to think about Safari and how much of a clown he is, I'm
The
just
clown.
like, because he is like, I can't take men like him serious. I just
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
I can't take men who think I could be married to somebody, but I don't necessarily have to show that I'm married to somebody. I don't
You
really
think
like.
when men act goofy,
Yes, it's like
I
grow
can't take you
up.
serious. That's not a turn on to me. I like
Yeah,
to
when you in
laugh,
your
but
40s, let me
stop.
say, men, listen to me. When you in your 40s, goofy shit, and y'all playing all the time, and y'all acting like you know, you got all the fucking time in the world to be this goofy. That shit is ugly. That shit is stupid. That shit is like, grow up and act your age. There's a way to have swagger and whatever y'all want to call that shit. There's a way for y'all to be smooth and have your shit together and actually be like, oh my God, I want to know more. Without y'all being such fucking buffoons. Like, I can't.
Buffoons.
Like, I can't.
That's why
And
I love
like,
you.
I can't, like, y'all, I'm serious. I can't with Safari. Like, I try every season. I see
You
him on
can't
a
take
TV
him
show.
seriously. I didn't take him serious
No.
married. I didn't take him serious when he was trying to talk to, who is it, Juju Cameron's ex. I didn't take him seriously when he was with Nicki Minaj.
I didn't take
I've never taken this
I didn't
man
take him serious
seriously.
when he was with the other one from Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. Like, I didn't take him serious because
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know.
yeah, it's like you literally like see TNA and you just go like a little puppy.
Do
It's
you
like,
think Love and Hip Hop Hollywood will ever come back?
no.
I don't think so. It
No.
got
That's
that.
why Ray J and Princess on their asses in here in Miami right now, because I don't think that show's ever. First of all,
I've heard the cast, like individuals, specifically Lyrica. I've heard she's difficult to work with, which I can see. She kind of has a nasty attitude.
well, here's the thing: Love and Hip Hop can't afford Californians. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say it again.
I agree.
Love and Hip Hop cannot afford
Atlanta's different of rich. Y'all don't get it. Like, is way different from California's.
Them same checks you would get in Atlanta will not work.
Our middle class checks out here, for people I know who stayed out there, just working middle class. When I was working before I went to college, I was making about $85K a year by myself. And they were out there like, oh, this could go far. I mean, I'm like, out here, 85K, I'm basically poor. It means nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It means nothing. I said, oh shit, I gotta go to college. Look at this shit.
Yeah,
this is exactly
it's just
what happened.
crazy. Yeah, exactly. So that's why I said they're never going to be a Love and Hip Hop Hollywood anymore. Like,
I'm noticing though, there's a big shift though of Hollywood to Georgia, to Atlanta. All the film production companies, basically Hollywood is not Hollywood no more. There's still like most of the people I know who go on like calls, they call it calls or whatever. Like when their agent finds them something or anything like that, 90% of the time they're telling me it's for like a commercial or like a digital advertisement. The ads you see on your phones when you're swiping and stuff. I'm like, if you want to be in like a movie now, they're saying for the most part, you're going to be in Atlanta because all of the established stars are filming out here. But if you know, it's not like it used to be. Please stop coming to California. We don't want you. And there's nothing here but high rent and disasters that are natural. Anywho, people keep moving here. And I know you feel that because you're in Florida and people is constantly moving to Florida. Constantly.
I feel like it's a difference. People moving to Florida versus people that are moving to California. I feel like people are moving to California to chase some dream that doesn't exist anymore. And I feel like people moving to Florida because they have fucking money and they want to retain it. So get you a nice little property and it's vacation here all the time. Like it literally is. So no, it's like people have money to blow. A lot of New Yorkers are moving to Florida because
that's what I heard.
They realize they can get a hell of a lot more property than what they get in New York.
And when you deal with a New York winter, you don't ever want to deal with winter again.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, it's just, and there's no winter here. So absolutely. I think that, it's two different things. I think it's way two different things. Like I see why people move to California. I don't see why people would think like moving to Florida is. And honestly, if I'm being real with y'all, actors, y'all should move to Florida. I'm going to be honest with y'all. If y'all are actors, y'all should, because let me tell you something. The actual like headshots and natural lighting and natural placements of photographers all live here. You can definitely get your reels in at the beaches because all that shit is free to y'all. Y'all don't have to pay to get on the beach. So y'all are stupid if y'all really think living in California versus living in someplace that's a tropical place. They fly you out to auditions now, or you can actually do virtual auditions. Y'all don't even have to go to that damn studios anymore.
Tell them, please stop coming here because y'all just making it harder for true locals.
Yeah, you're just making it you're making it harder on yourself to work 3 jobs and then not even be able to audition.
No job, exactly. Then you find the job is don't pay you shit. You work 3 jobs, then you got to go to the welfare office and take for the people who are stuck and truly from like it drives me
Well,
crazy.
here's the
I'm not
thing.
gonna get into
I let me explain something to y'all. I was never stuck in California. I got the fuck on because I'm not attached to one place like that.
Listen,
I'm
and
not
that's where
attached.
we different. I'm a Bay Area girl through and through. Shout out to the
Yes,
Bay
and she
Area.
is, and there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. But let me explain something to you. When it comes to wanting to live and want to live well, I'm not for the struggle anymore. I am sorry. I've never been like
See,
that. I
luckily,
left.
I have this degree in the field that I'm in. I will be making well over what's necessary in the Bay Area. So I'm happy about that. But I'm just like, the time, if I didn't get a degree, I honestly would probably leave and go to Texas or Washington State. But anywho, we're going to move it along. Sorry, we got detoured. He is my friend. So I do enjoy his conversation. And sometimes we go off. But the next thing we see is Shay. And looks like Shay's the Erica Banks of Love and Hip Hop Miami in that her wig stressed me out. Bucky is still wearing wigs that make her look like Bucky, which is why I've called her Bucky and not just James. James still calls Shay Bucky for those who watch or watched Flavor of
Absolutely.
Love.
And the reason why I still call her Bucky is because she still acts like the Bucky we saw in 2007.
There's been like no growth.
There's no growth in this young lady
Zero.
whatsoever. She is still the clown she was in
Iyanla gave
2007.
up on her.
No, she gave up. No, she gave up on Iyanla because
Oh,
Iyanla saw right through that bullshit that she was trying to bring. Iyanla, look, let me explain something to y'all. Don't go on. I know it's not a show anymore. We pray for her to come back. We do. We pray for her to come back, but we know she's not. Iyanla sees right through y'all, and y'all think that y'all can go on that show and put up this mask and act like you have it all together and you're just there because life around you has you all confused. Iyanla will break that shit down in 2 seconds and make you look like you're fucking stupid. I didn't see all the episodes to see.
I think everybody who watches Love and Hip Hop Miami, who like are true fans, obviously, if you're watching my recap, you're probably a true fan, and I appreciate you all. I just hit 400 subscribers while we're doing this, so thank you. Oh, that is a good thing.
I'm so happy for her. Oh my God, y'all.
His excitement.
Yes, yeah, y'all don't understand. I want my friend to win, so y'all don't understand.
All it takes
that
is one
exciting.
of us.
Right? Exactly. So yes.
But anybody who likes Love and Hip Hop Miami has watched this season 1. It doesn't feel what we're saying on Shay. Go watch her episode of Iyanla Fix My Life. You can still find those episodes everywhere for free. Streaming apps.
Yeah, that's still on YouTube. You actually can go YouTube and watch it. That full episode is on YouTube right now.
I would encourage y'all to go find an episode with Shay Johnson, who's on Love and Hip Hop Miami, because it gives you a lot of insight into her choices and why she behaved the way she behaved on this doggone show. I'm trying to tell you. Josiah says, woo, because of the subscribers. Thank you, dear. Anywho, moving along. So Shay's at this photo shoot with her family. So last season, it was, I don't want to show him on camera. I don't want my family to know about him. How the fuck you been with somebody for 10 years? And like nobody seems to know about him, not your friends or family. Now you're deciding to present him to us because in her stupid ass words, Shay says, I had Shajaya. And he was like, I want to be closer to the baby. And Shay says, I told you, you could always see your kid. I wouldn't get in the way of that. And then she says that Fabo, who is her dude, said, no, I want you too. And apparently that turned her on. But even though she's turned on and she claims to be with this man for 11 years and they have a child together, my thing that I noticed is why wasn't he at the birth? Because we saw little clips of the birth and he wasn't around. So I'm like, was it really that? Or did you just keep this baby because Shay is an older woman? And I know that there are some women who get older and when they do get pregnant, they'll keep it because they're like, when will I have the opportunity again? We also saw her battle with fibroids. So I'm thinking it's looking like that. She says that she's serious about the 1-year timeline to a ring. Ladies, if you have to give your man a timeline to marry you, he's probably not the one for you. Been with the same person 14 years. I don't know much, but I do know that. I never had to beg for no fucking ring. I didn't even want a fucking wedding. That motherfucker was like, you ready to do this? Let's do this. Let's go on a Wednesday. Like, I'm going to marry you. That's how it usually works. Or you plan a wedding. But You shouldn't have to put a man on a time schedule to give you a ring. If you don't know if you can get what you want without that time schedule, or if you have not gotten what you've wanted outside of that time schedule, why waste your time waiting on something that may not come? And if it does come, it's not going to last, because now you're taking away the one thing that men feel like they should do in heterosexual relationships. The man is the one who proposes. So I feel like
homosexual relationships too.
no, I know but in we're not talking about same sex. When it's between a man and a woman, the man is the one who proposes. So you cannot rush that timeline. That's what
no,
I'm saying.
you cannot. And then that's why I said it's the same thing for us too. But
Yeah.
what I'm gonna say is this, because I actually have a good girlfriend of mine. She has signs in her house, literally saying that I have been with this man for 3,246 days and I still don't have a ring. She has it as a doormat. She's engaged to him now, but before then, no, she had shit all over. I remember my first time going to her house. I was like, "The fuck are you doing?"
What is this?
Because, and my point to her was, I wouldn't want the ring from him if I did all of that. Because then, is it really from your heart, or is it because I have shit everywhere to tell you you need to propose to me? And that's where. And so I know women like this. I do. I hate this because then that always will make me question the authenticity of the relationship. It always will, and it would, and it doesn't matter. And I'm talking, and I'm saying this from a friend's perspective. If you have a friend that is always pressuring her man to marry her, and then he finally does it, you have to think to yourself: is he really doing it because he loves her, or is he really doing it because he wants her to shut the fuck up and stop? Pressuring about this shit. Realistically, it should always come from his heart. That's why you never pressure. Now, what I will tell women and men too, that if you have a certain timeline, don't say nothing. Leave.
Yes.
Don't say nothing. Just
Thank
leave.
you. That's
because
what Shay should have done. Is kept.
But that's not Shay.
Don't say it to him.
That's not Shay. That's not Shay. Shay is the type. She is disingenuous and really crazy. It's just no sense. She lives in delusions of grandeur. That's why I said it realistically is like, no. If he really loves you, you wouldn't have to even put a timeline out. You would just know. And if he really was the one, you would wait for however long that time was. Like, some men honestly are just not ready. But if you have a timeline, ladies, let me explain something to you. Don't say nothing.
Right.
Leave at the timeline.
Just say if your timeline into someone else's
his reality. Yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, you cannot do that. So if you have 2 years, so let's say you're in a relationship with this man for 2 years, and you say in your mind, okay, he has 2 years to propose to me. If he don't, I'm gone. That's what you say into yourself. 2 years, start packing up that shit and say, you know what? I can't do this no more. I got to go. Especially if you feel that connection and it's a mutual connection between you both, like where you really feel like, oh my God, like I just can't wait for the day he asks me to marry, because I feel like it's going to be amazing just to spend the rest of my life with this person. Then that's when you start saying, okay, well, if you don't do that 2 years, I'm gone. Because then that's how you know if that's really meant to be your spouse or not.
Yeah.
Because then they would try to win you back.
Love, you shouldn't have, if you feel doubt or questions or had to fight to get to the altar, like,
that's not the person for you.
No, because what people don't understand is when you get married, you think you know each other, but then you learn, like, I'm still learning shit about him after 14 years. So it's like,
yes,
you're going to spend basically the rest of your life.
Which is why I never tell people like people who do the Chloe and Lamar thing, you get married after a month. I never down those people, because I'm like, let me explain something to you. It don't matter if it was a month or if it was 15 years. You are never going to know that fellow person. I actually have another girlfriend. I'm going to share another cute story, then we got to move on. I have another girlfriend. I've worked with her for many years. And it was funny because she was married once before. And when she married her second husband, I had pushed her into it. And the reason why I pushed her into it is because she goes, James, I'm only attracted to this man. I don't know anything else. I just can't fight my attraction. I said, well, just marry him for just that reason. Yeah. Don't marry him for nothing else. Just marry him for that reason. Because let me tell you, the reality is you're never going to know everything. As long as he's responsible and pays his bills and you ain't got to attach yourself to nothing he has going on, that will sink you. Just marry him just for that reason. That was 12 years ago. They are still married today. and she still cannot fight that attraction. She has the Leanne Rimes syndrome, where Leanne Rimes is married to Eddie Cibrian. Y'all know how I feel about Eddie Cibrian. But I know why Leanne Rimes is married to that man. She cannot fight that attraction. When you have an attraction and you only marry them for that reason, it does work. That's why I said marry a man for the specific reason of why you love him. The specific, nothing else, just the specifics. I promise you, it works better.
Well, that is that with Shay's timeline. The timeline of a year to this man who just barely, especially after 11 rocky years of breaking up, getting back together, it took the kid just to bring y'all together. Kids don't make your relationship better. You could bring a kid into the planet and you're gonna love the shit out of your child. The father of your child or mother, whichever the fuck, is gonna love the shit out of the child, but that's not gonna make them love you. So you just have to remember that. The next thing we hear from Shay is that she doesn't want Fabo, who is her Jamaican boyfriend, says he does not, that he's going to go kick it with SAFAREE. Shay's like, whoa, I don't want you kicking it with SAFAREE. So, and then she says to the camera, I trust Fabo. It's SAFAREE I don't trust. Honey, you don't trust your man. You know how many partners, men, my husband have been around who, my husband he's got some shitty friends, people making babies outside of their relationships, people cheating on their girls, but niggas ain't shit. It's a fact. We know this. But I'm just like, you got to trust your dude. You got to trust your dude. If I got to worry about who you're with as a determinant of your behavior, then I don't want to be with you. That's how I feel.
As I said, Bucky lived in the delusions of Grandeurs Avenue. Her home number is 323. Because I promise you, it is just what it is. I just don't understand. First of all, this 11-year timeline when you was just with Pleasure P 4 or 5 years ago. I don't understand this timeline. When weren't you with somebody else?
Shays has been with in 11 years. Scrappy, Pleasure P, a couple of others. So I'm like,
yes, I'm like, where was this 11 years? You know, she's not giving for the hair. You know what she's giving in the mind? Jessica White. She's giving that in the delusions.
Oh, yeah, Jessica White. For those who are unsure, she's on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, which is now on MTV. She is the ex of Nick Cannon. But her timeline doesn't make sense either. But we're going to move it along from Shay because we'll come back to her. We see Gunplay meeting with Trick Daddy. I'm not really going to go over this too much. I kind of take Trick Daddy as the person on the show who everyone can kind of come around, talk to a little bit. The only one who seems to really know him or have a deep relationship with him is Trina and Joy, who we haven't gotten much from yet. But Gunplay, he claims that he's in a better space. And we find out that his wife is a 24-year-old PhD and Black and excellent. You go, girl. Why are you with this dusty man?
Have we not seen the blogs lately?
Listen, by the way, we're going to go over the blogs. We are going to go over the blogs. I'm not going to waste the most time on it. So Gunplay has been arrested, or not arrested. What was it? He was arrested because
he was arrested. He was charged.
He pulled a gun on his wife, who we see in the show, and while she was holding their infant child who has a very rare heart defect. She says in the tabloids, his wife has spoken out since we found out he was arrested, and the wife, Von Shea, I believe, she says that she believes that he's back on drugs and she's leaving. Listen, my family was just like that growing up. Education, seriousness, like, we grew up in the hood. They were like, you see this shit? You want better than it? My dad would take me to nice neighborhoods and be like, you want this instead of where we at? Study, behave, act like you got some sense. So I kind of get her upbringing, but I'm glad she left him because Gunplay is old as hell. He's affiliated with Rick Ross, the rapper, and they've known each other for years. Rick Ross is older. Gunplay is an older man. This girl is only 24. And so I'm kind of looking, it just like,
makes me wonder. I'm glad she's educated. Look, I'm not going to take your education away because getting a PhD at 24 is hard as fuck.
Crazy.
That is hard as fuck. That means you was doing double time in a few of those years. Mm-hmm. I commend you. I take my hat off to you because I am trying to do that same thing. So I totally get where you were coming from. However, think with you getting this education, your common sense is not all the way
Well, I
there.
always say, as a college student, college doesn't teach anybody common sense. It just teaches them the specifics about a certain field. College
No,
don't teach
I
common
get you. I get what you're saying about that. I get what you're saying about that, but you don't need there's not that much ignorance in the world that will tell you that you being with this man that's almost twice your age,
sense.
who, let's be honest, does not have the most sensible life ever. Because let's not keep it wrong, he just got out of jail. Wasn't that 2 seasons ago?
He was just recently, he relapsed, got out of jail, had a different
Yes.
lady. This is all very new. And I feel like we'll get into that a little deeper.
To me, it seems like, because this generation, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna say this one last thing and you can move on. This generation, I think y'all let sex determine
Yep.
whether somebody is, aesthetically available to keep for
Yeah.
however long period
Yeah.
of time. And I
Ain't
want y'all to
nothing
stop.
wrong with having sex, being permissible.
But you ain't got to keep the
People
person.
need to be smart with it.
Yeah, you don't have to keep the person just because the sex is good. Just keep them in a Rolodex or rotation. Yeah,
Right.
when you ready for them, bring them
Not
out.
the Rolodex.
Well, hell,
He
shit.
said
Didn't
the
nobody
Rolodex in rotation.
yeah, didn't nobody, y'all didn't have no Rolodexes in college?
Listen, if you know, you know.
Yeah, come on. Y'all have to have y'all women have a Rolodex, men have a Rolodex. Don't look and be protected at all times. Thank you.
Listen, hey, I agree. So the next thing we see is SAFAREE Fabo, who is Shay's boyfriend, and Shay. She comes with her dude to go meet with SAFAREE. She doesn't trust him so much that this heifer put it through her thick skull and put shit to motion to go and along with him on like a guy's thing. And SAFAREE says, he's like, this is supposed to be a guy's thing. So I'm like, your trust for this man is so weak that you had to pop up on the event versus just texting or calling like most women when they're bothered by something. So why do you want to marry somebody you don't trust, Shay? Why, Bucky? I want to know why. Who the fuck wants to marry someone they can't trust?
No,
Listen,
this ain't
my
even my problem.
relationship
This ain't
ain't
even
perfect either, but when I got married, I fully trusted him and I still fully trust him. But I'm trying to understand it. So
that ain't even my problem with Bucky. My problem with Bucky is this. The problem is you really don't want to look at yourself and really understand that you're really the problem in your relationship. Because you have put it in your mind that you would rather put yourself through all of this bullshit. He ain't even did nothing that we know of yet, unless you're not, exposing him to any length, because you should, if this is real, because this doesn't make sense to us as the viewing audience. So unless he's done something, you needed to expose that then. Because why even do this? So you really need to take a look at yourself and understand, is it really him you don't trust, or you don't trust yourself to know that you actually got it wrong?
she obviously
it seems like
got
you're trying
it
to
wrong.
prevent the wrong.
Previous season, Shay was pregnant alone. So any man who leaves their female pregnant for that amount of time, to me, is like whack.
No, it's just like, you really, honestly, I think you're trying to prevent something from happening by showing up. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. That ain't gonna do shit, because whatever he gonna do, he just gonna do.
Yep.
So you ain't doing nothing realistically but
That's
making
the
yourself look
motto
like
I
a
live
fucking
by.
fool.
Nobody got time to be. Once you get to a certain age, I think it's like stop the bullshit, the going through phones, all that.
I'm at a point myself. I
What
rather
goes
shit
on
just
in the
reveal
dark
itself to me than
will
me looking
come
for
to
something.
light.
Yes, like
exactly.
let some shit. Let's let it reveal it. Like,
so it's weird that she showed up, but then they changed gears and SAFAREE asked Shay her opinions about him dating Amada, and Shay, he lets her know, like, listen, we were a little bothered by your video at the event, because she posted herself at the event and was like, I did not see this coming, but if she's happy, I'm happy. And they found an issue with that. I don't think anybody saw it coming. When you surprise people about something so big to where you have this man around your kids and stuff, we would think that you would talk to your friends and family about somebody that's around you and your kids, especially so small, especially having girls. It's just an interesting thing, but we know Amada's a little bit of a dingbat. So SAFAREE then says that he wants a vasectomy and that he's getting one. And Shay is like, I know for a fact Amada wants more children. none of this has anything to do with Shay. She's at an event that she's not supposed to be at and wasn't invited at. I'm not even going to say too much on it because Shay is just doing the same shit she does every season. She's in everybody's business. She's going to play the victim and she's going to get angry over shit that does not impact her.
Well, let me kind of expand on that just a little bit. I could see why Amara didn't tell Shay. Because when you saw how involved Shay was when it came to her brother dating Amar and all that, and how she inserted herself as if she was the third party involved in their relationship, it really was like, no, I wouldn't tell her my business either, because at some point I always feel like she's going to insert herself in my life in one way or another, whether it be her trying to put me back with her brother because she don't want him on her couch anymore, or she's going to insert herself because she doesn't want me to win. I feel like Shay is one of those friends where she doesn't want her friends to be better than her. Because once you're better than her, then it feels like she has to one-up you in some respect or another. And I think by having Amara date MJ, she knows that that's not a step up. So I'm going to let you date my loser-ass brother because I know deep down I'm going to get somebody that's going to be way better than him. That's how she thinks. That's how that mama put them against each other. Like a lot of like Shay's issues, that is that mama.
Yeah,
y'all look at that mama. Yeah, that mama was something else.
That's why I say to everybody who's interested in why our opinions are so strong on Shay to look into go look into Flavor of Love, look into Ayanla, her episode with Ayanla. There's just a long history of Shay from the early 2000s acting a fool. Moving it along, we meet Zoe Brinks, who is a plus size artist. I am not calling the girl out just because she's bigger. These came out of her these words came from her mouth. I'm getting tired of y'all trying to leave your little raggedy ass comments to me about shit that I'm just commenting on that's factual. I do see them. I do delete them. They get on my nerves. But anywho, we see Zoe Brinks, who's a plus size artist. She says that she's been in the game for a long time, basically doing ghostwriting. I wasn't impressed, though, honestly, by a lot of the raps we saw on there. I wasn't the most impressed by her. But we see that she's living in her hair studio. She does do hair. And she's living in her hair studio, which is interesting. She says she also won Super Cindy's contest for the cipher, and she was the first female winner. So I guess these ciphers happen year after year. From what I got watching it, it seemed like out here in California, we have the little Thizzler ciphers, which showcases artists in California and the West Coast, things of that nature who are upcoming. So it is nice that they have something like that on the East Coast. That's pretty much all I'm gonna say about Zoe Brinks thus far. How did you feel about finding out she was living in her hair studio and the things that she does and whatnot?
So let me explain something to y'all. I live in South Florida. Cost of living here is absolutely crazy compared to what you can make at a salary working a regular 9 to 5. It is absolutely insane. It is crazy. It is unbelievable at times. So when I saw that, it didn't really hit me in a way where I'm like, oh girl, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why? It made me feel like no, it didn't. It made me feel like, okay, well, you know what? I get it. Because at the same time, that's your shit. And look, if you got to live in it until you can do better, then go ahead and do that. Because I'm not going to down her. Because I think for me, looking at that, I can see and I can relate. Because that's a lot. I know people now living in their cars.
Yeah,
because
that's common
rent
here
is
in California.
Rent is crazy expensive, and if you want to be an up and coming entrepreneur, sometimes taking that chance means you have to sacrifice a little bit. I'm not mad at her.
She still got a day job, though. She got a day job.
She
has the studio to sleep in. My thing with Zoe, I kind of appreciate it. I feel like this is what Love and Hip Hop, the earlier days, was built on, showing up and coming artists and like obviously their love.
Because we saw the same thing with Samaya Reese, season 1 of Love and Hip Hop New York. She was living in someone's attic.
She was living in an attic, a little one.
Yes. So yes. So it is that. But the only thing I'm gonna say about her is I feel like later on she's gonna piss me off because of her personality.
her personality, we are going to get into that further. I'm just going through the stage.
Okay.
We are going to
Okay.
get to the girl. No,
Okay.
no, no.
Yeah.
We're going to get into Zoe's personality. We are definitely going to get into that. I'm going to move it along to Gunplay. We see him at home in his home life. We see Gunplay speaking about his daughter's rare heart defect, which we saw all over social media, TMZ. They had a GoFundMe that was going around trying to fund and pay for the hospital cost of their daughter. Here's my thing. Your girl is a student who comes from a family with money. We've learned this. You are an artist and a reality television personality who has a good amount of funds coming in. Why the fuck? And this was a thing when they had the GoFundMe on the internet. People were like, what the fuck? Why do you need help? And he was getting mad and going off on people about it. But it's kind of like, first of all, why don't you have health insurance? Just because you're an independent contractor does not mean you can't have it. Many actors pay for a premium on their own for the year. This just people in the industry, and they have good health coverage. Why would you not cover that? This doesn't make sense. I didn't like how they just kind of, maybe the timeline of where they filmed this, because they just kind of moseyed on over the GoFundMe or like the need for one. Because at the same time, Gunplay started that GoFundMe, he gifted Rick Ross apparently a gift that was worth like the cost of the surgery, a watch of some sort. So Gunplay obviously is shady. He's ended up on TV, and that's what that is. We see Von Shay. We find out that she's a smart woman. She works, or she wants to work. She has her degree in criminal justice. She's achieving her PhD so that she can work in federal law enforcement. It looks like she does that to some extent. Gunplay makes some comments. It seems like he's really like, oh, I'm fucking the Fed when they had me. Stupid, as big as he is, just stupid. But we find out that their marriage is not perfect, okay? Her mother sent a letter to Gunplay. This sounds like some shit my mom would do. When I was watching it and then even looking at her mom, I was like, these remind me of my fucking parents, like dead ass, like dead on them. So her mom sent a letter to Gunplay, basically speaking her wholly honest opinions of him in the situation. Some of the highlights of said letter: his teeth is fucked up. He's a cokehead. His mama is a crazy Jamaican. Listen, educated people crack me up. That's some shit my mama would do. I'm gonna write you your read. And he read the letter. He said she got on all of it. Listen, he feels like he don't want to be around the mom, and she's saying she wants to have a party to, show her daughter off because she was sick. So many people have not seen the baby yet. And he's over here like, I don't want to be around the mom. So that's going to be a point of an issue, obviously, in their relationship. James, renowned author Jackson, what do you have to say about that whole scene with him, with his, I know you have to say a lot because...
No, I don't have a lot to say actually, because the point that I'm gonna try to make, because I already said in the beginning, I feel like I'm not looking at somebody who is self-aware, and I'm speaking of the girl Von Shay. I'm not seeing somebody who's self-aware. I'm not seeing somebody. She's smart as hell. I will give her that, but I don't see somebody who really is in her own. I feel like she was groomed and manipulated into marrying this man by him. Because I'm telling you,
she's young. She's only 24. And 24-year-olds think they know a lot, but
it's not even about that. I honestly think that she is whipped on whatever sex that they have. I really, because
yeah,
I
that's an
actually,
older man.
I work with a girl. I'm not gonna say this. Damn, I already said it. But put into this way, she's with a man, and he's also Jamaican and very abusive. I'm just gonna put it that way. But she can't let him go.
Accused of that.
Yeah, but she can't let him go. So what my thing is, I'm saying this to say that I feel like this is calming down here. I feel like this is calming down here. I feel like these men get these they're smart girls. I'm not going to say they're stupid, but I feel like they're impressionable. I think they get these impressionable young ladies who really don't know life yet, and make them, probably guilt them into certain situations where you don't want to be an old ass woman getting married and stuff. Oh, Because you know, if you have more than one kid, you know you're gonna be washed up. Ain't no man gonna want you. And you know, men do feed that to women. They do. It's stupid, and y'all women are stupid for falling for that shit. But at the same time, if you're impressionable and you don't know any better, you're going to do it because you
Well,
feel like,
Monte is very impressionable. I can tell.
yes,
Just
I can
little
as well.
things. She's trying to keep up with the trends of, artists we see in hip hop with style of dress, style of wear, all this
No,
stuff.
yeah, she was very impressionable.
But
That's
then
why I
you're
said,
studying to be a federal prosecutor, so you're not going to be able to wear all of that and do all of those things in that specific field. So she's only 24. Gunplay is older, and I don't care what none of these young 24, 25-year-olds think. I've been with the same person for a very long time, and men who are older will fuck you better than a man who's younger sometimes, just because they have a lot
yes,
more
but at the same time,
experience. So that's probably causing her to be a little.
yeah, and I get that, but what I'm saying is that sometimes that's not always the right situation just because they know
Mhm.
how to do it and they know how to do it
Oh
well.
yeah,
Sometimes that's not always the best situation
I
because what
think
you
she's
do is
young and caught up in proving to her parents as what we're seeing now. Like, he's good, it's gonna work out. See, he married me, and it's, as we know now, it's not working
it's
out.
not working out. Yeah, exactly.
It's
And that's
not
what I'm
working out.
saying. There's y'all, and that's the thing. Women, when y'all have sex, I get it. I totally get it. I get that it feels like you can walk on water and the air can lift you. I totally get that.
Don't walk on
But
water
what I
like you lift you.
I promise you, that's what they think. But I'm telling you, when you that young, you
Mhm.
gonna realize that you wasted your fucking time and energy
Mhm.
because your body is going to change, and that same shit that you felt at 24 is gonna feel like a fucking bomb when you
It's like,
get
Gunplay, why do
48.
you bother that girl? Why did you
Yes,
bother that girl?
that's what I'm
Because
trying to
that's
say.
who should
It's
know
like
better.
you
You
know
have
better.
fumbled.
But see, the problem is that like I said, she's impressionable. She really is. She is beautiful. She is smart. Those are the kind of women you want, but you know at some point you can manipulate them because what you're gonna tell them, you're gonna be about your career, you ain't gonna have no husband. Might as well just do it now while you still young, because I promise you, you got the whole picture. You got your career, you got your husband, you got your baby.
Well,
Everybody gonna
I
think
will
you one in
say,
life.
in lieu of everything, um, it's I think their relationship is a total disaster.
Yeah,
I'm gonna move
absolutely.
it on along because that was just interesting to see from Gunplay. Him and his wife have some explaining to do, though, in regard to the donations that people have given for your child that you did not need. Let's just call it what it is.
Mhm. Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
moving it along, we go see Super Cindy Cypher. This is her fifth cipher. They're calling it the Cipher 5. So my brain equated that to be in the fifth cipher because she's done it a few times. So she brings Zoe to this cipher. Zoe's a winner, and she's there at the cipher basically to rap. She's thinking she's going to rap for Trina. This is the artist that Super Cindy had asked Trina if she would be interested in meeting when at the studio session in the very beginning of the show. So Trina had previously already agreed to meeting this artist. So Trina, we see Miami Tip, who's still on this show, don't know why. We see Zoe, she shows up, does her cipher. We also see Bobby Lights, who shows up, and he says he's known Zoe since high school. So apparently he's known her for quite a bit of time, and I found that to be interesting. So we see Trina coming in. She's walking in with Bobby Lights. They're walking through production to get to the event space. And while walking to this damn event space, Trina's already complaining. She has a bad attitude. She keeps saying she can't stay long. And as soon as she gets in the door, she sits down and then gets up and is like, I have to go. Trina was simply fucking rude. She was rude. She was very rude. If you were that busy, you shouldn't have came. You literally did all that walking, which looked like a mission to get into the event space. And then you get there, you're not even there for 5 minutes, and you immediately are getting attitudes with everybody else and you leave. So I'm like,
Let me also explain something to Trina. Trina, gas is $4.50 out here. What the hell is you doing there then? Wasting everybody's time, wasting when we're here to see you because of whatever. I have never heard of this event. Like I said, I'm not living under a rock here, but there is a lot going on in this city.
mhm.
Everybody has an event. Everybody is rapping underground. Everybody is doing something. So it's hard to really keep track of everybody. Now I've heard of Cindy Cypher. I've heard of her. I listen to her sometimes, but I don't know about her events. I don't know about any of this bullshit.
Mhm.
What I'm gonna say is that I don't like when, because it seemed like she was irritated about something else, but she didn't want to put it on camera.
Trina, I'm sick of her. Every time she feels triggered in any way,
Yes,
irritation triggered, she treats people around her like shit. You may be the
right.
baddest bitch in Miami, but the rest of the country, we didn't give a fuck prior to you being on this song. Or not the song, but the show. Before Trina was on Love and Hip Hop Miami, she was a huge artist. She had songs, she had albums and things like that, but then she wasn't the most consistent, in my opinion, with putting out tracks. There was a
You know
long
what it is?
time
It's just
getting
that because
from her. I feel like she's letting the Love and Hip Hop Miami thing kind of get to her head. And then it's like, none of your relationships work. You blame, she just doesn't seem very accountable, is what I'll
no,
say.
she's not, and that's the thing I don't like about Trina is that I feel like because you're so respected here in South Florida by
Mhm.
everybody that you really let that go to your head. So when people do things you don't like, and when people do things that are unpleasant to you, you want to act up versus being the adult and the mature. Like if you had something else to do, you shouldn't have came. You should have told her, "Look, we'll have to do
Mhm.
this another time." If you really were not feeling it, something happened. That's what says
Yeah.
she doesn't just
She
react. Something
said
had to
people
happen.
have, Trina says, I'm not feeling it, and people have unrealistic expectations of me. And that's why she did that. I said, no, they had the expectations of what you agreed to, which was to
Yes,
come and meet this person as a potential mentor. So I think we can agree that Trina was an ass. She was an entire ass. Even Bobby Lights was embarrassed. If you got the coke sniffing guy with the Zeus show embarrassed, you fucked up. Sorry. Okay. Speaking facts. But we do love Bobby Lights. He's funny as shit. We're going to move it along to the next thing that happened in the last scene of this recap, and that is Gunplay and Von'Shay sip and see for their daughter. At the sip and see, we see that a couple of cast members show up, such as Shay and Amada. Um, I didn't like that as soon as the event was beginning, Shay instantly was trying to talk to Amada about stuff. Like Shay don't even have the decency to know like this is an event for their kid. And now she's a mom, so she can't act like, oh, I'm not a mom, I didn't know.
right.
Like,
It was like
why?
very like, oh, she got, oh, this is for the Amara girl. So what happened was you, Safari?
Right.
What y'all
Like,
doing?
stop,
It was
Shay.
like,
That
what
was
the fuck?
that was so uncouth. It's like they didn't know if their child was going to
Yeah.
live or not. This little girl has gone through more of a battle with her body than we've gone through in our whole entire lives. And Shay's there trying to talk about fucking this fake ass relationship between Amada and SAFAREE. Like,
It
stop.
was like, okay,
Stop,
so what did
Shay.
you really come? I would have felt like if I was I would have felt away. I'm like, why are you doing this here right now
Shay
with
doing the
this?
most. I feel like Shay need to just be happy to still be on the show because for a second we wasn't getting a lot of Shay on Love and Hip Hop
We
Miami.
ain't got enough of her now. Like, we don't know why she here. She ain't even in the credits. What the fuck is she doing here?
Oh, well, moving it. So at this thing, Amada pretty much shoots it off. The event starts. We see the event. They present the little girl. She's so small still. I'm like, why do you have this little baby around all these people? I don't care if it's your friends and family. They came from other places where germs could come into the fucking house.
Right. It's still like
What
it
the
seemed like
fuck?
that baby was still recovering.
Yes, that's why I'm
Like
like,
that's what
why is
it
this
like. It
baby?
seemed like I was looking at that baby. I was like, is that baby like how long ago was the surgery?
Dude, my thing, the mom, Von'Shay, she's still wearing a waist trainer and very much so is still losing her baby weight. So I'm like, did Love and Hip Hop like sign them at the last minute to come on
That's
the
what I'm
show
thinking because
after
it looked
the
that
stuff
baby
happened?
literally looked like it got out of ICU 2 days before this event. Like that
Yeah.
baby
She
literally
was
looked like that.
small. She was small. She was cute, but she was small.
Yeah.
They present the baby, all these faces and breaths and cameras around the child. That just bothered me. But it is what it is. It's their child, their choice. Basically, Gunplay ends up talking to Von'Shay's mother. She was able to convince him to show up, to act right, all of that. And he talks to the mom about the letter. And the mom pretty much was attempting to talk to him, even though she wasn't fully agreeing. Like they were having their dialogue, and then Vache comes and sits in, and she's pretty. They have issues, obviously, separate from Gunplay, which was very clear when they were presenting their daughter. She hugged her mom with like but she embraced her daddy. So I peeped that. She obviously has some issues with her parents, and she's younger, so that's to be expected, honestly, when you're younger, to have some disagreements. Gunplay goes and talks to this lady at the party, feeling good or whatever. The mom basically, when Vache starts to chime in, this lady reminds me of Asha. She reminds me of my mama. I'm trying to tell you. She said, I'm not doing this here. I saw her. She was in there, glasses. I don't think she really was filling the cameras like that. And I think her mom has an idea of loving hip hop. And we watch this show for entertainment, but I think a lot of the people who are on Love and Hip Hop, and even the ones who watch it, know that based on how the older generation of Love and Hip Hop was, its inception, the people on it are kind of looked at kind of like the people of Zeus, kind of ghetto, trashy, not knowing, ignorant, like all these things. So I think it does get a bad rep, especially in the professional realm and the realm of Black excellence. I'm just saying, the way these people act on this show does not demonstrate Black excellence at all. So the mom just looks done. She says she's not doing it. And pretty much that's it with Gunplay and the mama. So I was like, I don't blame her. That's not the place to discuss that. You guys,
it's not the place, and I think that that's why she felt that uncomfortable, and why she was really like, okay, I'm not about to do this. Because first of all, if you were really grown, this reminds me of that time, Michael B. Jordan, when that person that interviewed him, he goes, "Oh, we went to high school. You said I was corny, right?" And all that's what that reminded me of. I don't know why, because the two were completely isolated. It was two different things. But to me, I would have preferred Michael B. Jordan, just like I would prefer Gunplay at y'all big ass ages, to just take that shit on the chin and understand that that's just somebody's opinion of you.
I think Gunplay
they
also
don't
needs
know
to
you.
understand, when you choose to be with a woman who's young enough to be your daughter, that
the mama's going to have questions. The mama's going to be concerned.
Not just the parents, everyone's going to have concern, probably even his friends, about what her intentions could be. The age gap is too big for people to not be concerned. Separate from the age gap, that already gives you a strike and makes this whole relationship, people looking at you with a side eye. Like, separate from that, you have drug problem that's public.
Right.
You've been on TV throwing a chair at your ex. You have literally posted things while high online during the pandemic that damn near got him canceled. I'm surprised he was able to make a comeback to be on this show. These things all happen publicly. It's not just like the normal person who, I had a drug problem and I don't know how I'm going to explain this to your family. It wasn't a public issue. We watched all these things happen on screen and off screen via social media. So Gunplay has to understand that to a parent of somebody even his age, he's a terrible contender to date someone's daughter. It's a fact. And then you have kids, and he even himself said that he and Vache's daughter is his second chance at fatherhood. So you had the first shot and you blew it. So to a mother watching her child who's only 24 with working on all these goals, suddenly get pregnant, marry this person, and have to go on a show that could impact her finding a job in the field she's interested in, that's a concern. So anywho, let's get through this bullshit. Shay and Amara speak, and basically Shay tells Amara that SAFAREE wants a vasectomy, which I thought was fucking weird. Amara's like, Shay, this is why I don't tell you stuff, just like James said. Look how you act, look what you're doing. And Shay starts yelling out of nowhere. And she's got a really loud, obnoxious voice. So she's hollering at this child's party. And I just thought it was tasteless, and I'm sick of Shay. And I feel like she's trying to make a problem out of something. She knows Amara. If you know Amara and you love Amara and you know her history, then you know Amara needs to get her heart broken, won't listen to anybody, and that Amara makes bad choices in men, and that this one will fizzle out. So what are your opinions on all that I just said?
You said my sentiments exactly. I ain't got nothing else for Bucky. And you know what? And Bucky, I want you to grow up. Because that was stupid to do at that girl's party. Right. Grow up. It ain't even your fucking business at the end of the day. So why do you even care? That's why I'm saying it. She just wants, realistically, I feel like she wants her brother and Amara to get back together so he can get up off her shit. That's what this is. Like, no one, because why would you care that much if it ain't got shit to do with you?
Listen, I think that we support our friends, but like to be hollering and stuff like that.
No, you would never come up to me at a party if you wouldn't do that. Nobody, none of my friends would. Like none of my core friends, like not saying associates. My core friends would not come up to me at somebody else's party
Nope.
or some shit. And then when I say something they don't like, elevate the shit even louder. So now everybody's looking at us, make fools of ourselves at somebody else's party.
Yeah.
No, no one's gonna do that. None of my friends are gonna do that. So no, I'm sorry. This was stupid. This was ignorant. I'm over her. I can't wait to. I would say Mona, but Mona ain't over the show. Stephanie ain't on the show no more either. Who the fuck is the executive producer?
I think
On the
Mona.
show?
Mona.
No,
I
I'm
read
talking
it
about
in the
the real one.
credits.
That's a vanity title. That because she has to have it. She created the shit. Who is over loving hip hop right now other than Mona? Because Mona not gonna listen to me. So I don't. I have to look at the credits again because it might be Stephanie won't listen to me either. Hell, one of y'all listen. Get her up off this fucking show. I don't want to see her no more.
Yeah, I think Shay got to figure some things out. But that is the recap for Love and Hip Hop Miami Season 5, Episode 2. We will be back next week, same day. I will be posting the video of all the weekly lives because we have quite a few on my channel now, as well as the separate posts. They'll be posted to TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I had to think of which ones because I don't post shit to Twitch because it confuses me. Anyways, I appreciate everybody for watching, especially those who watched the last episode that we did last week and this week. We had over 200 views on last week's Love and Hip Hop Miami in 24 hours. I was like, oh, snap, that's pretty good for an upcoming channel. So I appreciate everybody for watching. Feel free to come back when I end this live. I'm going to be restarting another live. We're going to recap Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And then after that, we'll head over back to James's channel to recap Bell Collective. So I appreciate you all. Thug life and have a good day. See you later.